Usually this is something I would stand up for, but I think I sprained my ankle, so it hurts. So I'm gonna sit down for this. But before I start this too, I just want to let you know that I'm not necessarily taking a side for what I'm about to talk about. I don't want to take sides here. I want to go through it about like the most non-biased way I can possible. As we all know that earlier, or should I say late last year, it was around like November, December of 2019, Poppy and Titanic Sinclair decided to part ways and basically broke up too, as they were a couple. There was a lot of speculations of things going around, like Titanic Sinclair just being mentally abusive to her and Poppy cheating on him, with obviously Ghost Main, who Poppy is now engaged to, this, that, and the other. And it just was all over the place. People were throwing blame. It was his fault. It was her fault. Really, I don't know, and I don't necessarily care. That's something that, you know, I think it tried to stay behind the scenes, but it just didn't and whatnot. And I think really, from what I hear, they're both in the wrong in certain situations, because if Poppy did cheat on Titanic because she just didn't feel right in that situation, that's wrong. She probably should have talked with him and said, hey, you know what, this isn't going to work out. You can still be my producer and all if you want to, but this whole relationship thing just isn't going to work out. Cheating on him I don't really think was the answer, but then, you know, I hear some of the stuff that he would say to her and basically force her to do, and I'm like, am I really that sorry for him? Not that much, but at the same point in time, I don't want to sound like I'm defending Poppy for what she possibly and most likely did to him as well. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Titanic Sinclair himself put a Reddit post on Reddit, obviously, the other day, and basically he just said a little background. Me, 33-year-old male, and my ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old female, met around 7 to 8 years ago. At the time I was going through a shitty breakup, and she helped me get through it. She, I'll call her M, wanted to date me, so we started dating when she turned 18. The age gap wasn't even weird for us because we had so much in common. Our relationship was going great for a few years. I also gave her tips on how to improve her appearance, like wearing more makeup and dyeing her hair more flattering color. She asked for my suggestions and chose to follow my advice. Let me talk about this one because a lot of people seem to be, I think this is true, because if he says they met 7 to 8 years ago, that could put her at 18, but I think she was 17 when they met, which would have made him like 25 at this point in time. And it doesn't matter if she was like literally this close to being 18. He's still technically groomed an underage girl. But once again, 7, 8 years, he could possibly just, like, that was probably not necessarily an estimate. So who knows there? I don't know, but we'll just say that. And of course, Poppy would tell you that he would basically tell her that she wouldn't look good without makeup, and that she wouldn't, you know, look good without this hair color. Considering I think the blonde hair for a while was just a wig before she actually dyed it blonde, so that, I don't really know the story on that. He then goes on to say, some shit happened in our personal lives, we had a falling out, and we decided to end our relationship last year. We parted on bad terms and mutually decided to block each other on social media, but I kept looking at her page because I didn't see the harm in it. We were a part of the same friend group, so I ended up hearing about things she was saying about me from her mutual friends. This is a little weird, considering if they did agree that they would both block each other on social medias just so they wouldn't have that case of stalking in this case, and him going by and saying, oh, I actually, you know, I still look at her account nowadays because, you know, is it really that weird? You just kind of seem like that ex-boyfriend that just can't get over the woman that you thought you loved, and now you're just kind of creeping on her. Like, I don't know, that sounds a little suspect, but again, I mean, this is just coming from him, so I don't necessarily know what he's trying to get at here. He did say, a few weeks after we broke up, M started posting pictures with another guy on social media, introducing him to her friends, and he started commenting hearts and flower emojis on her selfies. I'm almost sure that she was cheating on me because she started dating him so quickly after we broke up, and she was acting like she was hiding something towards the end of our relationship. She always let me read her text as a trust thing, and she told me she wanted me to stop doing that for a few months before we broke up. I have no idea why she would stop unless she was hiding something from me. Here's another weird thing, because I mean, granted, if she would let you read her text, that's fine, but to me, it seemed like you were so paranoid that it was like something that you made her do, or it was like on the checklist, like, I have to read your text every day, and getting suspicious when she just doesn't want you to read her text anymore. Now, obviously, like I said, if she was cheating, that still sucks too. She shouldn't have done that. But at the same point in time, at that point, she probably was just like, I want my privacy. Why can't we trust each other? If he's really having this much trouble, then why am I still with him? And why do I have to keep giving him my phone if this isn't, if he can't trust me? So, it is what it is. But like I said, at the same time, when you're suspecting that someone's cheating on you, you definitely need that. Either you need the proof that it's happening, or you need the proof that it's not. So I guess he just wanted to, make sure. But you do know, Titanic, that you can delete your text messages too, so she could have been doing that beforehand before just going, nah, I'm not going to give you my phone anymore. Like, that's a thing. You can delete text messages off of your phone. I'm just saying. And then he goes on to say here, things were weird for a while because we were hanging out with the same people and they would always make the little comments about things M had said about me. M and I didn't interact at all during this time, so I moved on. Then about a month after our breakup, M posted a note on her Instagram story that all her friends saw, basically slandering me. It was along the lines of implying that I was controlling and emotionally abusive, saying she never wanted to dye her hair / change her look, and that I forced her to do it. She also dyed her hair back to her natural color, which made me look bad. I never made her do anything. She always agreed to all my requests. I was never abusive towards her at all. All of our mutual friends started pulling away from me because they wrongly believed her lies about me and being a terrible boyfriend. And everyone started acting like I was a creep because of our age gap. I'm losing my friend group, which I actually introduced M to because of her lies. I want to say this. People freaking out over the age gap thing now, it's like, again, if she was 17 back then and he was still 24, 25 and whatever and did that's a little weird. But at this point in time, if he's in his 30s and she's in her 20s, yeah, it's a big age gap, but they're both grown adults, so that's not necessarily creepy. That's just two consenting adults being able to say, yeah, I'm physically attracted to you. So I don't necessarily think that it's creepy right now because, well, she's 25 and he's 33, so that's, for that old people, it's not necessarily that huge of an age gap. We're not talking about a 70-year-old rich man and a 25-year-old woman who's only there for the money. No, this is an 8-year age gap between two adults. But, take that as you will. And look, all of these guys that get accused of something like this always say, I'm getting slandered, this, that, and the other. There are some that don't know what they're doing hurt the other person, and I think it's mainly because the other person just wouldn't really say anything in the relationship. They would stay quiet. They wouldn't let anyone know, especially the person they're with, that it was hurting them. So there could have been that miscommunication here, maybe he was doing it without knowing, but she just didn't feel that, I don't want to say she didn't feel the need to speak up. Maybe she was just scared to say anything because she didn't know how he would react. I don't see Titanic as a violent guy, but who knows, at this point in time. But it seems like everyone who's accused says this, and for the most part they end up guilty. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say anything. I'll give you mainly my main thoughts when I'm done here. He goes on to say in the second to last line that we're going to read that M and I had been working on a project together before we broke up, which she finished by herself and released after she posted her lies. She never gave me my cut of money owed to me for my contributions, and she actually removed my writing credits from other things we worked on. She's essentially been stealing my money and hard work. I don't want to take legal action because I honestly can't afford a lawyer. I pointed out to her mutual friends that I worked on the project too, and asked how they can believe her lies when she's stealing from me, but none of them care. So yeah, this was basically he's talking about I disagree, which is weird because online he's still credited. If you look at the producers, it says his real name, and then Chris Grietti as well was also part of it. So I guess maybe she just didn't mention his name, and if she's really withholding the money that he is owed for this, that's kind of shitty. But I don't necessarily remember you not having credit. Your name is still in the producer area, or I could be missing something. Maybe it was, taken down recently, but I remember it being the thing that we're like, oh, this is the last contribution that he's going to have on one of our albums. Maybe I disagree more. You didn't have contribution on. That's could be a possibility, but I disagree. I remember you getting credited as a producer and even writing some of the songs, so. And then he finishes off with TDLR, ex-girlfriend cheated on me and posted on Insta about me being abusive and controlling. I didn't do anything. I'm losing all my friends because of a lie. She also took credit and money from something I worked on. What do I do? So all that just to ask that question, and I do not agree with the people who came on and attacked him. I get that they were trying to explain some stuff to him, but it's one of these situations where, with Titanic, I think the reason that people are believing Poppy more than him is because he had this happen between him and Mars Argo, and Mars Argo left, and then he kind of took Mars Argo's persona and basically gave it to Poppy. People complain because Poppy took Mars Argo's little thing, when really that was Titanic's idea, and he just left one woman and brought it to the other, and it gained more popularity and success that way. And I guess Mars took it as, well, Poppy's just this, that, and the other, using it for this. But, it is what it is, and I think that's the reason he's getting so much hate here, is because he had that whole thing go down with Mars Argo back in the day, where basically the same thing was being said. He was, mentally abusive, he was controlling, and very manipulative. I remember Poppy stating something about, how he, fantasized about suicide and would always, when he wouldn't get his way, would threaten to kill himself with something that she owned. I don't even know if it was a gun or a knife or whatever, but he would always be like, I'm going to kill myself and I'm going to use this, that, or the other, and it was always something that she owned. That, to me, would lead to, yeah, he's a bit manipulative there. It's not that I don't think he has mental health issues. I think he's just using his mental health issues as an excuse to get his way and be controlling, and that is a very shitty thing in some ways. Again, I'm not letting Poppy off the hook, because I am pretty positive that she did cheat on Titanic while they were still in a relationship. It is kind of weird that right after her and Titanic split ways, that all of a sudden her and Ghostman were all lovey-dovey with each other, and that became more public, and this, that, and the other. It doesn't add up. Most of the time when you have a breakup like that, you're not just going to go right into the next relationship. That already had to be going on at some point. So if she did that, it's wrong. I can see why she did it, but again, I'm not going to sit here and say that should be a pass for her. But in the end, she just kind of wants this to be done and over with. She's moved on, she said what she has to say, but yet Titanic keeps bringing this up, and recently he did this whole thing of bringing back the Charlotte character on his channel and this, that, and the other, and it seems like he's just seeking attention at this point because he sees what Poppy is doing by herself, and I think it's making him upset that what was his project is now good and successful without him, and I guess he just can't stand that, and he's upset about it, and he makes the point of, I can't afford a lawyer right now, that's why I'm not taking legal action. But I don't know, I just think it's an excuse for him to sit here and, whine and cry and all that, instead of move on like Poppy is doing and has been trying to do since this whole incident has been over with. You look at, not only did she have her first album chart ever on the Billboard 200, and she had a couple of songs hit the Billboard herself, including her All the Things She Said cover, but she's also engaged now. Granted, yes, it was with the guy that she cheated on Titanic with, but she's engaged now, about to get married, and that could be a happy moment for some people. Maybe that's what she needed. I don't know, but Titanic seems to be holding on to this for way too long, and that seems to be his problem, and I think that's why people look at this and go, you did this and that, sure, she cheated on you, but when you're doing what you did, why should we feel sorry for you? And I get where people are coming from that. Like I said, I don't agree with the people that went on Reddit and attacked him after this post, but I see where people are pissed off, and I see why they don't necessarily want to take his side in this situation. It's just a little weird that this has happened twice to two different people who you basically tried to turn into this weird character for shock value to, I guess, advertise their music that was going to come with it, this, that, and the other, and you just so happen to be in a relationship with them. I don't know how old Mars Argo is. I don't know how old she was. Obviously, I would assume that Titanic was in his late teens and early 20s when they started dating, and then when that whole thing broke through, he met Poppy, and she may or may not have been underage. I still don't necessarily know if she was 17 or 18 at the time. It was close, but again, if a 24-year-old is manipulating a 17-year-old being like, I'll wait till you're 18, that's still a little creepy because you're still grooming an underage child. I mean, it's like what Onision did when he flew out, that 15, 16-year-old girl, and wouldn't get sexual with her, would kind of say things and be like, but we'll do all that other stuff when you're 18. And then when she turned 18, that's when he started getting a little weird. That's what this reminds me of in this situation. And now he's playing the victim card because, well, you know, she's a big thing, so, you know, maybe I can try to end her career. He's like trying so hard to cancel her when really she said what she had to say. She's done on the situation, and you keep bringing it up every so often. There's a reason why she started doing the makeup tutorial videos, and there's a reason she released that Pokemon theme song cover, because for some reason you were putting pictures out there on the internet of her without her makeup on and whatnot, and you for some reason thought that leaking that Pokemon cover was going to like hurt her reputation or something, when really it was just like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. You know what? She had fun in the studio and decided to do that one day. What does it matter? Like, none of that ruined her career. This wasn't like anything that would ruin anybody's career or cancel somebody in this case. It was just regular pictures and stuff that you still have that you should probably get over, dude. Like, delete all your pictures of her. Stop following her on socials, because she obviously doesn't want to follow you. She doesn't want you following her. And just get over it, move on with your life, and stop trying to play the victim card here. Look, if you have a serious mental problem, get help. That's all I have to say. Other than that, I don't want anybody going anywhere and sending hate to Titanic on Reddit, his social media. As a matter, I just don't think he needs it right now, really. I think he really is trying to find himself, and if he's getting help, that's great. I really wish the best for him, but he keeps doing shit like this, making it worse, when all we're trying to do, and all Poppy is trying to do, is move on and forget about it, and he keeps going like, well, this happened, and this, and it's like, dude, just calm down. Get over your ex. Obviously, the relationship wasn't going to work out. You have to get over it. And there's just some guys that I guess just really, really can't. They thought that she was the one, and when shit hits the fan and they break up, he's like, I don't get what happened. And he doesn't realize the bad stuff that he may have done in the relationship that caused her to do the stuff that she did in the relationship as well. So, yeah, that's basically it for me. I ranted on for way too long. These videos are becoming super long for some reason, and I don't mean for that to happen. But, yeah, I'm going to go lay down now and rest my ankle because it fucking hurts. So, you can tell me in the comments below, what do you think of these posts, and what do you think of the situation overall? It is what it is, and don't send hate to anybody. I'll reiterate that again. Don't send hate to anybody, and yeah, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.